As we've come to expect by now, Jessica Jones is packed with Easter eggs and references to a whole stack of things, including origins of the character herself and those around her, Marvel Comics, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and the creative people behind various Marvel endeavors. So let's get into all of that. Bear in mind, as it is with all my Easter egg videos, spoilers. All the spoilers. So if you haven't watched Jessica Jones, do that or don't. I mean, I can't make you do it like some kind of overpowering, manipulative Jessica Jones villain. Like Patsy Walker's mother. See, that's a reference that only works if you've seen the show. That's why I'm saying you should see it. You know what, it doesn't matter, I'm starting. Alright, the character herself. Now this story takes heavy influence from Alias, Brian Michael Bendis' run on the character Jessica Jones, former superhero turned private investigator. Though this isn't a beat-for-beat retelling, Jessica Jones remains pretty much intact, minus the smoking. She's a hard-drinking, damaged, former wannabe superhero with super strength and limited flying abilities? More like jumping and falling. The comic version of Jessica Jones went by the name Jewel, which is the superhero name suggested to her in this live-action version. And we even see her classic, albeit terrible costume. It looks so uncomfortable, like it's made out of the stuff you lie in an above-ground pool with. Jessica Jones' best friend was originally going to be Captain Marvel, like it is in the comics, when this series was being pitched to ABC about a decade ago. Things have obviously progressed since then, with the growth of the MCU, and Captain Marvel getting her own movie. Hence, the best friend role is given to Trish Patsy Walker. Her alter ego, who we don't see, is Hellcat, a martial arts expert with some force field abilities that aren't present here. References to her being a redhead, like she's in the comics, are made numerous times.
I miss your red hair.
Now we can't go past Luke Cage, who's getting his own Netflix series very soon. He's another result of the Super Soldier program trying to be resurrected, and we'll be getting back to that. Like Jessica Jones, Luke Cage is pretty much as he is in the comics. Bulletproof skin and all, minus his original outfit. His wife, who was murdered, Reva Connors, is also a former Flame, and the fairly graphic sex scenes from the comics do make the jump into this series. Jones and Cage actually end up having a child, whom of which we also get a nice nod to.
You just wanted to tell him you love him, you want him back, you're gonna have his baby.
What? No.
But the best Luke Cage reference has to be his signature catchphrase, Sweet Christmas.
Sweet Christmas.
Yeah, Sweet Christmas.
Sweet Christmas.
As far as villains go, Kilgrave is completely terrifying. He's probably more fleshed out than he's ever been in the comics, with some major changes evident. For one, he's not entirely purple, though he's no stranger to purple-coloured clothing. And of course, his skin does slightly change colour as his powers amp up towards the end of the series. There's also a stack of other smaller characters that are connected with Marvel Comics. Jaren Hogarth, who's been gender swapped, is a lawyer who works for the Rands, as in Danny Rand, as in Iron Fist, another series we'll be getting soon. Malcolm Powder is a student and fan of Jessica Jones, who works as her assistant, like he does at the end of this series. Ozzy Clements is a detective from the Punisher comics. Luke Cage jokes that a man called Melvin ate wings at his bar, possibly a nod to Melvin Potter, whom we also saw in Daredevil. Angela Del Toro is another private eye Jessica Jones recommends, who is also known as White Tiger, and a man is said to be seen coming out of the ocean when the hunt for Kilgrave witnesses is on. Maybe a hint towards the ocean-dwelling Namor, but then again, his character rights don't belong with Marvel. So who knows? And of course, one of the most surprising additions is Will Simpson, whose name is shared with a comic book artist, but he clearly has more in common with Frank Simpson, a kinda deranged Captain America, because again, he's a result of trying to recreate the Super Soldier program. And you know what? He even dresses incognito the same way that Steve Rogers does. Frank Simpson, though, he's more commonly known as Nuke, a man with a variety of enhancements, the one of which we see here is red, white and blue pill powered. He also carries a USA styled lighter in reference to the fact he's tattooed the American flag on his own face. So no, that's not face paint. I guess this is what a true patriot looks like. He's under the care of Dr. Kozlov. Maybe a nod to Michael Kozlov, a Marvel scientist who once tricked a dragon named Grog into a spaceship headed for Mars. And I'm not surprised we didn't see that. They're probably saving it for season 2. Getting back to the comics though, specifically Brian Michael Bendis' limited run. A number of small moments are lifted from his issues. The opening shot of a guy being hurled through the Alias investigations door. A moment where Jessica Jones bluffs her way around being shot by implying that she's bulletproof.
I'll pull the bullet out of my ruined jacket and shove it up your ass with my pinky finger. And who do you think that's gonna hurt more?
No, that doesn't work this time. And we get a whole lot of little moments, like how she's just on the toilet in one scene, which I know is a weird thing to bring up, but that's something we just rarely see in superhero comics. Brian Michael Bendis actually wrote another Jessica Jones Luke Cage story that deals with Luke Cage getting injured and his unbreakable skin making it difficult to administer medical treatment, like what we saw. And Kilgrave's yacht is called Goldfish, which is the name of a comic, pre-Marvel, that he also wrote. A number of people who have been big creative names behind Marvel Comics are also dropped. The drunk bus driver is called Charles Wallace. He's an inker for Marvel. We see a sign for Yost Cafe, possibly a nod to Christopher Yost, a Marvel comic, TV and film writer, and we see a list of names at the morgue, a couple of which worked as editors on Jessica Jones. The street signs Birch and Higgins, which is the location of Jessica Jones's childhood home, have been very prominent in the marketing material and could refer to a number of things. Higgins could be a nod to John or Michael Higgins, both Marvel artists, and Birch could be a nod to Cora Birch, a fictional Marvel writer, or Donald Birch, a minor Iron Man villain that nobody cares about. And let's not forget the obligatory Stan Lee cameo. Just a picture, same as we saw in Daredevil. There's also tons of references to the wider MCU, including potential minor nods to all the Inhumans popping up in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Hammond Labs is even mentioned, possibly a reference to Camp Hammond, a S.H.I.E.L.D. training facility. Plus we get a stack of people mentioning the Avengers themselves. Now like in Daredevil, where Rosario Dawson's Night Nurse character also appears, people are still talking about the Battle of New York, which I guess you would because aliens came out of a hole in the sky and everything just went bananas. Anyways, Hulk and Captain America are named specifically.
So go after the big green guy at the flag waver. I wasn't even there.
And I think this sign might say Stark. I don't know, it was much clearer when I was watching this on TV. But you know, now, this doesn't look like anything. Alright, a couple of last things. I can't help but think that Nuke breaking down this door is a parallel to The Shining. And finally, we get a pretty great Star Wars mind trick reference.
What are you doing? We can go about our business. Move along. Move along.
Awesome. And that about does it. Now, if you are interested, I have a podcast that might interest you. It's called The Weekly Planet. We look at movies and comics and TV shows. I'll link it below, along with my Easter egg videos playlist and some other crap I made, I don't know. I got a few questions though, and feel free to answer any or all of these. What was your favorite Easter egg in Jessica Jones? Did I miss anything? And heads up, I did. And who do you think the organization IGH refers to? The group said to be behind Jessica Jones's powers. So if you have anything to say about any of that, please feel free to leave your thoughts below. Alright, thanks everyone. Take care.